Hi guys, got my tea, blanket, comfy, cats are around, being menaces. So today we're going to talk about part 2 of the broken food system, or the broken food system that I've noticed, etc. And if you didn't see part 1, it was all about seeds. So go back and watch that video first, and then come watch this one. So this one is all about people who grow food. So farmers, homesteaders, gardeners, industrial gardeners, greenhouse growers, anybody who grows food, even if it's just one tomato. Okay, that's what it's about. So, who grows the food? All those people I just mentioned. Now, farmers grow the food. Let's say we'll use farmers because they're the biggest, right? And they have usually the most land and etc. So they fertilize their stuff and they compost. They use compost on their products to grow the food. For the most part, we're going to be talking about farmers, industrial growing, like the big guys. So when they use seeds, obviously, to grow their stuff, their food, they have to fertilize and they have to use compost on their land. Okay, so just keep in mind that we're mostly talking about the big guys, but in general, we are still talking about everybody who grows food because, in my opinion, you are responsible for what you grow. Okay, so the farmer and the people have grown the food. Where does the food go once the farmer has grown it? Okay, so industrial places and stuff, and farmers and everything, and even just homesteaders, some people do market gardening, so they're growing to sell at farmers market. They'll bring their stuff to the farmers market. Maybe me and you will go and buy it. It's possible that the person has a farm stand on their property or on the corner of the street of their property where they just load up the stand, and usually it's done on an honor program where you just go there and you put the money in and you're honest and you pay for what you take and stuff. Farm stand, it's literally my dream. I think it's so cute. I would love to do it. So the farmer or the industrial grower, whoever, may sell to all kinds of places. I mean, all kinds of places. There's so much. I had to write it all down, but it was getting to be super long. So basically, there is a lot of main places they sell to. So they'll sell to distribution centers. They'll sell to wholesalers. They will sell to processing plants. Sometimes, depending on the size of the farmer, the processing plant is actually on the farmer's land and he does it. But they'll also sell to ethanol companies. They might have a CSA program, which is community supported agriculture, which is like a subscription box. So you pay the farmer, and each month or each week or every 2 weeks, whatever you set it up for, you receive a box of groceries at your doorstep, and you have to do something with it. The farmer or person might also have a self-pick option. I'm in Quebec, Canada, and there is a lot of strawberry picking here. You go there, you pay your money, they give you a little basket, you go into the fields and you literally fill your basket, and I'm sure 99% of the people are gobbling them up as they pick. There's also the same thing for apples, apple picking in the orchards. Same thing, you pick, and then when you come out, they charge on the quantity that you've picked. And there's also people farming or whatever under contract. So if you work with a super famous company, what if you're growing potatoes for the Lay's potato chip company, for example? That's just an example. And, you have to grow that crop, and everything you grow goes to those people. Okay, so who's growing it? What happens once it's grown? Now, what if it doesn't sell? What if it's still good, but it didn't sell? So the farmer or the person growing it could eat it themselves if it didn't sell, obviously. But I understand you can't eat an entire field of pumpkins because, come on, right? Now, you could still sell it to wholesalers if you found a smaller wholesaler. You might get lucky. What a lot of farm stands do near me, I live in St. Hubert, Quebec, Canada, like I mentioned. And not far from me is the La Prairie food market. And farmers from all over come to the La Prairie market to sell, and it's like huge. But what they will do is they will sell like giant boxes or giant bags. So it doesn't sell, let's say, and maybe until the end of the day or the week later, they'll come back with, I once bought, I'm not joking, a 50-pound bag of carrots for $5. Because, why? Because they didn't sell the first week at full price. They were a little weird looking. So sometimes the person or the farmer will sell all the perfect looking stuff. You know, the well-rounded, the well-ripe, you know, uniform. Each pepper is the same size. You know, those will go first. It's like grade A, top quality, whatever. And then you have like imperfect stuff. So my local grocery store, that's called Maxi, is now offering for the last few years imperfect produce. So you can get like a big bag of peppers. Like I got this big bag of peppers. It looked like a 10-pound bag of potatoes, but it was peppers, yellow, orange, red, whatever, and I got them for like $5 because one pepper was like this, one pepper was like this, one pepper was skinny, you know, the side was pushed in, it wasn't fully red, there was like some green. So they're starting to sell imperfect produce more often now. So if all that still falls through, they could always sell it to feedlots. The animals in the feedlots will, you know, the companies will buy it to feed their livestock. Or if he has livestock, or the homesteader or something, if you have backyard chickens or pigs or something, you could feed your produce to them. So if the food is still good and they didn't sell it, or if it's a little bit imperfect, they can also donate it to food banks. A lot of places, like farmers and stuff like that, they will donate to food banks so the food doesn't go bad. Okay, so what if they have all these leftovers, but it's really bad stuff? It's like gross, rotten, whatever. So you have a whole field, okay? The farmer has like a whole huge field of stuff. They've harvested the fruit, you know, the vegetable. And they're left with like the vines and the foliage and the stems and the leaves, and some of the produce was like super rotten and mushy, and they just left it in the field. So what can they do with that? Well, you could put your animals on the field. Again, animals and pigs and stuff will eat anything. It doesn't matter if it's nice or perfect or whatever. Most of them will eat anything. You run your chickens through it, feed your chickens, and they'll pick through it and stuff like that, no problem. Now, you can also come after that, and you can till everything into your soil and just let it rot. So you're essentially making your own compost, and the nutrients are going back into your field. Now, if you can't leave it on your field, then, or your garden or raised beds or whatever, because, you know, it works the same thing. Industrial, huge to small, whatever, it's the same thing. You could compost it. So you can have a set area and compost. You know, it could be a little compost, could be a huge mountain outside compost, whatever. But this is really good because then the farmer could either sell the compost to people who need it, or B, which is more likely, they will use the compost themselves. Because if they have to buy compost anyways to fertilize their crops in the beginning, why pay for it when they can essentially kind of make it for free? So I was watching the news once, and I saw this article about farmers having so much crops, or an abundance of crops, or they couldn't get people to pick the crops, or whatever reason they were giving on the news, that food was rotting in the fields. And this is so unacceptable to me, it's not funny. Because I was trying to think like, okay, so you don't have anybody to pick the food, so you're going to let it rot. And I'm like, well, what if you open your farm area up to you pick it yourself? Like I mentioned with the apple orchards and the strawberry farmers, why can't you just, you know, post on social media? Because social media is very good for stuff like that. Or, you know, the news they did the article on stuff was rotting, but what if you contacted like your local news or radio or whatever, or food bank, and said, you know, come pick it yourself, and we'll charge you like $5 for a whole box of whatever it was, or you donate it to the food bank and you say, look, I'll give it to you for free, but you got to come get it yourself. So I can understand them having people go to their farm to do the work if they are not capable of doing the work, because we're dealing with a mass amount of stuff, And then I was thinking, well, what if it was like cucumbers, right? For example, and you harvested the cucumbers and turned them into pickles, right? So you can like transform them and do something with it. So I was just trying to think of all these solutions, and the whole point of this video and these series is the food should not go in the garbage, okay? It should not go in the garbage, okay? If we are buying food, me as just a normal person, are going and buying from the farmer, I'm buying from my grocery store, I'm growing my own food, it shouldn't go in the garbage. The last resort, in my opinion, is to somehow find a way to compost that food. That is like the best thing you could do. Grow it, eat it, transform it into something else, compost it as an end resort, right? So if you have the carrot, I don't even peel my carrots anymore. I just like wash them really well and cut the tops off. And I know some people take the carrot tops and they make like a carrot top pesto. So you can do that. But, it's just try and find different solutions. And this is the point of this series, is let's go through the steps and see where the issues are. So stay tuned for part 3 and all the rest of the parts, because it's going to continue. And I'll see you next time.